In this video, we're going to look at how to use the News tool in your D2L course for CCC Online. The News tool lives on your course home page, so when you first access a course, you'll see the News tool right here in a widget on the left side of your home page. The News tool is one of the most important ways that you can communicate with your students in your D2L course. It's a place for you to make announcements to students about things that are coming up, for example, upcoming assignments, whenever you've posted grades, or reminders about things the students need to do. So to work with the News tool, you can click on the drop-down arrow next to News and click on Go to News tool. Here you can see a list of all of your news items in your course. To create a new news item, you'll click on New Item. Here you'll create a headline for your news item, and then you'll type in your text. Now you can use the same tools to edit your content here, as you'll find in other places in D2L. But again, a reminder when you're putting in content here, that you don't want to be changing things like the font family, font size, or font colors, because that could make your news post not ADA compliant. So you'll want to make sure to leave your text at the default font settings. You can, however, use the bolding, italics, or underlining, or even things like justification or bulleted and numbered lists to change the styling of your text. If you'd like to add a picture to your news item, you can do that as well. You'll do that by clicking on the Pictures icon here. This lets you insert an image. Now it'll bring up a navigation window where you can find the image on your computer that you'd like to upload. You'll select the item and you'll click Open. I'm going to hit Cancel here because I don't want to put an image in this news item. Now one important note about that is that we do have a limit to the size of the images that you can put in your news items. And that limit is 150 pixels wide by 150 pixels high. Images that are any larger than this can cause viewing issues for students if they happen to be viewing your news items on a smaller screen. And one other really helpful thing you can put in your news items is a quick link. You can create those by clicking on the quick link button. So that'll bring up a list of the different kinds of links you can create. At the bottom of the list is URL. So if you want to just put in a link to a website, this is the way to do that. You'll simply paste in your website here. Be mindful that there is already an HTTP in here for you. So if you're pasting from the website and it inserts another HTTP, you'll just want to delete this extra one. You'll give that a title, and you can set if you want it to open in a new window. And that will create that link in your news item. I'm going to cancel that, however, because what I'd like to show you is how to create a quick link to items in your course. This is a really helpful thing that you can do for students if you want to remind them to view certain items or pages in your course. So for this example, let's click on Content. Now we can see all of our modules of content listed here. So for this example, if I wanted to remind my students to view the course schedule, I could click on the Start Here module and click on Course Schedule. So now I have the link here. Now once I've finished creating my news item, I can scroll down and I can edit the availability. So basically this lets me create the day on which I want this news item to be published. If I want it to be published right now, I can always hit the Now button and it'll set the date and time to the current ones. However, I can set this to a date later. If I want to create my news items ahead of time and set them up to be released at the start of each module, for example, I can go ahead and do that using the Start Date tool. I can also set an end date if I want this news item to be removed from the News tool after a certain period of time. Once I'm finished setting those dates and creating my content, I can hit Publish, and my news item will appear here in my list. One news item that's really important to take note of is the Instructor Information news item. You'll see a template for this news item in your course as soon as you receive the duplication, and it's up to you to go in here and change the information in this news item as part of your course readiness checklist. So to edit an existing news item, like this one for example, we'll simply click on the title. Now we can edit these different elements of the news item, and as soon as we're finished editing it, we can update it. Now notice this box under here. You can mark this as a major edit. So if you significantly changed something about a news item, you'd want to mark this so that your students will see it again. Because what happens is that your students have the ability to dismiss news items. So for example, let's say if you put an update about grading, and then you posted it and your students dismissed it, but then you realized you needed to make a correction there, and you went back and edited that news item, you'd want to mark that as a major edit so that the students who dismissed it will see it again and see the changes that you made. You could, of course, always just post a brand new news item if your update or your changes were that significant. So once you're finished creating your edits, you'll hit Update, and it will save it. Now finally, we'll look at how to reorder or delete your news items. So for example, if you wanted to reorder your news items to make sure that your instructor information news item was at the top, you would do that by clicking on More Actions and Reorder. Now you can change the order of your items by giving them a number. So instructor information now is going to be number 1 on our list. The new update that we did will be number 2, and the welcome news item that came with our course will be number 3. Now we'll hit Save. Now if we go back to our home page, we'll see that instructor information is first, our new update is second, and then the general welcome news item is third. Now finally, we'll look at how to delete news items. We'll go back to the News tool to do that. We'll simply click on an item, like the one we created, for example, and hit Delete. Then we'll hit Yes. So that's how you use the News tool in your CCC Online course in D2L.